You too. Hola familia, beautiful family, pura vida. Here we're on an interview with an amazing entrepreneur that I love so much that asked me to come into her vibe show. So we're having a very interesting theme and I wanted to share online, but you can check in with her. She's right there. Say hello, they're looking at you.
Hello gorgeous people. Woohoo! We're gonna check it out.
She's called Gaby Kowalski. She's amazing. You gotta check her out too. Amazing. Entrepreneur coming from the heart, doing amazing things in the world. And well, here we are. So I'm gonna be focused on her, but you're welcome to come in, to share, to be with us, of course, right? That's what we're doing this for. So thank you so much, Gaby. Here we are.
Alright, let's do this.
Yay.
Welcome to the Vibe Show, and we've got a phenomenal, gorgeous guest on the show today called Juanpa from Juanpa Global. Juanpa is a transformational leader, a thought leader, a healer, a coach, doing some pretty amazing things on this planet. I actually just came back from New Zealand after spending 4 days with this incredible man, and I just had to share him with you. We went super deep and elevated vibe and frequency around creating a deeper impact on the planet, you know, really stepping into our purpose and really tuning in and like listening to our soul to make a great impact on this planet. And today we're going to talk about what it really means to shift your vibe, to do the inner work around being the best leader you can be in your business, in your life, in all areas of it. And just super excited. So thank you for playing and being on the show.
Hey, thank you so much, Gaby. It's an honor, such a blessing to share with you and all your following, whatever comes from the heart. Such a blessing to be there. Yay.
So, to get this party rocking, I'm just curious, right? Like, what is it that inspired you to do work with leaders, to actually work with people that are doing great things on this planet and help them shift and make a greater impact? What was that inside of you that had you start doing this work? Because the stuff that Juanpa does, guys, I swear, after 20 years of doing so much work, being a coach, being a healer myself, this guy's stuff blows me away. And it's not every day you come across someone that just makes you go, whoa, you know, your stuff is so special. What is it that had you, and like, what is it that brought you to this part of your journey, to be doing this really deep work?
Well, for me, it all started like with healing with my brother. I was feeling very disempowered. My brother was dying and we couldn't do anything. I was very young, but something inside of me told me there's always something more. Don't stay with the little me. Don't stay with what people tell you. Don't stay with what society tells you. It's all about beliefs, and you gotta change those beliefs. There's much more than what they're teaching us in life right now. So that's what really motivated me to go into healing, to go into everything that I'm doing to help everybody awaken into this reality that helps them connect with their own truth and stop living in the big lie we live in society.
Yeah, I love that. That's beautiful. So, if you were to look back over your journey, your own journey of transformation, your own journey of growth, your own journey of shifting yourself into higher frequencies, higher states of vibes, higher states of being, what have been some fundamental core shifts for you, like the big ones that where your whole world, you know, turned around and you saw what was available in a different way? Is there something that pops into your mind now as a big shift?
For me, the big shift was that there was a cage, that they told me that there was limitations, that there wasn't. I was free. I've always been free. We're all free. But we are letting ourselves hold back by all the limitations and beliefs that they teach us. So the moment I realized that, like, my whole world opened. I really started realizing the life of my dreams. You know, I was talking about it. I was having a pretty good life, you know, but I was holding on to so much in my life. So just seeing that every limitation that was imposed to me, I was accepting it. I was the responsible of my life. the responsibility was in me. And when I really understood that and start seeing, instead of pointing out how bad society was, how bad my teachers were and my parents and all the influencers I had, I started saying, why did I accept this? I'm gonna change this. This doesn't work for me. I'm done with that. And do really deep and conscious work. That's what I teach. I teach people to go deep into, like, see themselves and release the deep parts of themselves that are holding them back. Not the surface that can seem even okay. So that's what the whole work is about, like really going deep.
Yeah. When you look at leaders, when you actually look as, like, to be a leader, what do you believe it means to be a leader, to be the vibration, to be the identity of a leader? What do you believe that is?
That's a great question, because many people see leaders as politicians, as teachers, as these great figures that, will never be that, maybe, because I'm just here to follow, I'm just here to do a regular life. But people don't realize we are all leaders. When you are empowered, when you start listening to yourself and your heart, you become a leader of your life. And just being the leader of your life, being an empowered being, you are giving others permission to do the same. So it's inner alignment for outer manifestation. And now it's worked in a different way. People learn to be leaders. So they learn all these techniques on how to speak, how to look, how to stand, how to brainwash to do what they want, because they're coming from their ego, they're coming from their personality, from this limited space that will just be limited for you. You are not really co-creating with the universe. You are not really open to infinite possibilities that can take you even deeper than what you can imagine. So that is the leader, the one that's conscious, that there is deep work to do, that you are committed to your alchemy, that you are committed to always going deeper and releasing whatever is holding you back and awakening whatever is dormant. When you do that, you're not held again anymore by everything they told you were. You're really living from what feels right for you, not for what they say should be right for you. That's a real leader.
Yeah, I love that too, because you're saying it's someone who's committed to actually doing the inner work. Someone who's committed to consistently showing up in a great way.
Yes.
Going in, clearing some stuff. If you look at what would you say are some of the fundamental pillars that most people need to clear in order to really step into a greater version of leadership, to really own themselves, to be able to listen in and really hear their own guidance, their own, intuition and whatnot speaking to them? What would you say over the years of doing what you do are some of the things that hold people back pretty standardly across the board?
Yeah, I feel that's a great question, because it's very deep, right? And it's usually just acknowledged as, for example, the mind. The leader is mostly like, hey, mindset, it's all about biohacking the mind, it's about affirmation, it's about, you can rule the world with your mind, because the thought is what creates everything. They are right, but that is it's like 10% of all the possibilities a human being has. So this is, for example, in the courses, in the courses we do, in the trainings, we work in every area of our lives. And I call these areas, there's many, but there's 7 basics that I call them the 7 Vortex. And it's the 7 Vortex of leadership, actually. But how to empower yourself in these 7 vortexes, which you're not even conscious that all these energies and influences are ruling you, and you are not the one that is really coming from your core, from your truth. So, for example, the mind is one of these vortex, and it's amazing. You can create whatever you want. You can inspire yourself. You can visualize. You can dream. It's your computer. It's your crystal from which the light is brought to the planet. But we have also the body. How do you really embody your purpose? Are you living your purpose? How do you stand? How do you breathe? What do you eat? How do you look? Everything is important. Your body is your temple. And it's not an attachment to the body. No, it's just a vehicle, but it's the vehicle of the soul. It's the vehicle of the energy that's flowing through you. So it's very important to acknowledge this temple, and the most refined you have it the more energy will flow through you. So it's, for me, that's the basic. But then we go into the emotional part. How are you dealing with emotions? Are you really, and this happens a lot with men, we're very disconnected to our emotional body, to the emotional layer, and we're only accepting certain emotions in our life and not dealing with deep emotions that cause wounds and pain when you don't bring them out. So if you don't acknowledge that we all as men have little boys, and of course little girls, women too, but in men it's seen a lot because they don't let us express our emotions. So it's very important to acknowledge they're there and then learn how to transform it, knowing that emotion is just energy in motion. That's all it is. So when you learn to do that, your life transcends. You use that energy to create whatever you want in alignment with your heart, in alignment with spirit, in alignment with divinity, or however you want to call it.
I love that too, because when you look at the emotional plane of leadership, I know for myself, one of my things in my journey has been stepping into vulnerability. And so for me, my sort of benchmark of a leader was strength and warrior, and like holding, being able to hold the certainty and the strength for so many. And then the evolution for myself was deep in the emotional plane, and it was all about vulnerability. It was all about, releasing this preconceived belief that I had to have my shit together all the time.
Yeah.
Had to be like,
yes,
perfect, work hair out of place. And also learning how to tap into that emotional plane to really connect to compassion, to connect to vulnerability, really. The best way I can describe it is that, shifting into being more vulnerable, and therefore being able to really understand the people that follow you. And that doesn't matter if you own a big business or if you have children, or,
exactly.
In every area of life. It's, you can be a strong pillar and a warrior, yet at the same time, your kids, your wife, your or husband or whatever, your family, your friends, your clients, your staff, everyone around you also needs you to evolve into a place where you can have compassion, where they can relate to you as well, where they can feel connected to you, where they can feel that you're a human being at the end of the day. And
yes.
And so I think I like that, in the emotional plane of really tuning into your emotions, tapping into the feminine part of every one of us, because at the event that I spent a few days with you at, we had this awesome conversation around masculine and feminine energy, and how so often in the world people think I'm either female or male, and there's this societal push for men to be men and women to be women, know. And the truth of the matter is, especially in business, you need both. You need to be able to focus and get shit done, and you also want from the masculine, and you also want the feminine element of creativity and compassion and all the beautiful stuff that brings. Curious, right?
Yes.
In your journey as you've been integrating, what happened for you to have those shifts to really become integrated as a leader in the emotional space by really honoring and integrating the masculine and the feminine inside of yourself? What are some tips you could give to the people tuning in around having this full spectrum? Because to me, unless we're fully integrated and we've got access to both these parts of ourselves, we're kind of missing out on some of the colors in the world. It's like seeing the world only in dark colors and not light colors, and it's all available to us. So curious, what a little bit of tips, points, story, whatever you want to share around the importance of integration in the emotional plane. What would you like to share?
Thank you. Yes, I love this, because it just, the image that comes is when I was 16 years old. I was weighing 200 pounds. I was full muscle. I had created, I was like a closet, super stiff and, long hair. I still had hair, of course, long hair. And I was a surfer, so super bronze, this beautiful, model, looking amazing and super. And I was so full of stuff, Gaby. I was protecting myself of my little child, of my vulnerability, of my sweetness, of my openness, of my receptivity, of my being scared to be wounded, being scared to suffer. because I felt I had to keep this image, you know, and we all do that, as you say, when you are going somewhere, you're starting a business, or you're a certain figure in humanity. Even at home, you gotta keep it together, because you don't want them to know that you are weak, or that you feel this or that. What are they gonna feel? What are they gonna think? Are they gonna love me? Am I gonna be accepted? So of course, when you're a teenager, that's something huge, right? Because you are rebelling against society, but at the same time, you're like, where am I going? Who am I? I want to be accepted. I want to be loved. I want to be somebody too, you know? I'm important. It's like when you really start stepping up, who are you in this world? And for me, I suffered so much because inside I was dying. I had all this figure outside. All people would put me in this place of idolatry because of all the things I had done and who I was. And inside, I was literally dying, Gaby. I was so disconnected to my emotions. I couldn't even see them. I stopped crying like long years ago because I was a super cry baby. That's how they called me. So I would first go into the bathroom to cry, and then I would just shut it, and I became like, no, I never cry. Nothing touches me. I'm just made out of steel. And then I even stopped laughing. I used to laugh really hard. I was a super emotional person, so I used to laugh so hard that I would get, I would have even like a stupid laughter for some people, because it was so pure and real, and it just came out so supernatural, and yeah. And people were like, why are you so happy all the time? You look stupid. Like, that's so silly. Like, oh my God. And I started feeling, I remember the moments I closed with all these emotions. I started just going in and saying, oh my God, I look stupid laughing. Oh, okay. So I'm just gonna laugh like that. Cool. I'm like, yeah, all right. Like, and start creating all these ways to behave that were masks, that weren't me, but I had to have them because it was the way I was going to be accepted from the people around me. You know, I was the cool guy in the school, and I was everybody looking up to me. I could never have my figure come down until my own ego and my own personality, took me to a place of lifting 450 pounds on leg press, and I blew my knees away. Both knees were blown away. And I was like, oh my God, I stopped surfing. I stopped lifting weights. That took me again into my spiritual path, which I had before, but it was like, now you are really confronted. You can't even almost move. I was in bed for a while. It was big for me, and that confronted with all my emotions. I remember crying for days of all the stuff I was holding on. It just opened me, and the knees are symbol for ego and for fear and for being humble. When you have problems in the knees, it's like, hey, stop. Where are you going? What happened? Can you just heal and accept that there's something bigger than you? Who do you think you are? Like, you're off path kind of thing. So for me, that was the greater opening of like, hey, there are emotions I'm not dealing with, and these emotions, if I deal with them, will make me the most inspiring, creative, and powerful being in the world, because I am real, I am authentic, and I am unique, and nobody can put up to that. It's the strongest force in the universe.
Yeah. And I love that, because, ultimately when we look at leadership, what does it really truly mean to be a leader? It's to be authentic. It's to stand in your own power. It's to take all the bullshit off. It's to take the metaphorical hats and jackets off that we've got put on to belong, to be good enough, to be accepted. All the BS stories that we've accumulated, and I love that you shared that sometimes in life, the world will do something pretty crazy to have you listen, and that's what happened. Like, if your external world, here you are, you're full sporty guy, surfing and gym, and all of a sudden, none of that external stuff that was filling the voids there anymore, and you're confronted. You have to look at your stuff.
There's no other way.
I also think it's an important message for everyone listening, because so often people are looking for, how can I get everything done so life is never difficult again? And they're kind of looking for this magic pill, or the happy pill, the do this personal development course, or if I do this, I'll stay in a high vibration forever. And what I've noticed, especially for everyone watching and listening, if you've got a big vision of impact on this planet, if you actually want to leave a legacy, if you want to build an empire, you know, I kind of feel like the bigger our visions are, often what happens is we've just got to be more conscious around how these struggles are showing up and start to listen, because, you know, if something happens and you blow your knees out, and in that moment, you actually take the time as a leader to go inwards, to point the finger in, to really tune in and go, what's going on?
Yes, exactly.
And yeah, so
that's the leader right there.
Exactly. And I think this is the work of the leader. The leader is very conscious and takes full responsibility. The leader is constantly curious, and also, depending on how big your vision is, well, there's going to be growth to do, right? Like, it is this constant work of elevation, constant work of burning stories, taking the jackets and hats off. You know, every level's got its own version, and I do believe it gets easier because the more we do this, right, the more we pick the stuff up really quickly, and we've got more tools to be able to release and continue. Yet, in saying that, if you were to, out of curiosity, if you could go back in time and this is not to say that we have any regrets in life, or, you know, that everything didn't happen for a beautiful purpose. Yet if you could go back in time and say one thing, you know, to yourself before the knees blew out, you know, because that blowout was like, to me, that was, you know, first we'll get a nudge, we'll get a, hey, pay attention, we'll get a nudge, something doesn't feel right. You know, then we might get a kick in the shins, you know, something goes wrong, and then we get a big punch in the face if we're not listening to and
exactly.
I felt like the next blowout was the punch in the face, right?
Yes.
Because before that, you already had the nudge. Before that, you already had the something's not right here. You know, I've got all this external world success, and yet I don't feel wonderful. Why don't I feel wonderful? What's missing? And then you realize it was because you weren't letting yourself be all of you, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's so like that for everybody. So if you could go back in time to, you know, to that version of yourself, you know, after everything you've learned over the years, what message would you share with him that could also serve everyone listening right now?
Yes, no, that's amazing. Even though I wouldn't change anything because those were my lessons, what I teach now is like, hey, we can learn through love. You don't have to learn through pain. Even though when you're stubborn like me, like I was obsessed with stuff and you wouldn't get me, and you know, some of us need that. But I feel now we're in a level in humanity, in the consciousness of the earth, when we're learning from a very different space. And that's what I want to teach. When I teach people, it's like, hey, you can save all this time and energy and money if you want, if you just go directly to the point. And for me, directly to the point is, where are you really at inside of you? Can you see yourself nude and see in every area of your life? If you feel you are thriving, are you being the leader of every area of your life? Or are you just in your comfort zone, kind of getting used to like, this is the way it is, it's okay, I feel pretty good, knowing inside that there's a fire that's burning, that there's much more, that your purpose is bigger, that your message is bigger, that there's a whole world out there waiting for you, but you are not capable to accept it, to go deep, deal with it, and then open yourself to the to being uncertain, to the uncertain, right? To the unknown. It's so beautiful to see, like, we get scared, we get fearful, so we stop in this comfort zone. But for me, if I would have really tuned into like the messages that were telling me before my knees, that what I had depressions, I was feeling disconnected, I was feeling empty, I wasn't feeling good. Even though outside I had so many girls that were following me and so many boys that were admiring me, I was the leader of the tribe a little bit, you know. So what? Inside I felt nobody. I felt empty, I felt no connection. It's one of the hardest moments of my life, even though I looked as the best moments of my life. And that happens a lot. You know, I see a lot in entrepreneurs, I see a lot in leaders, I see a lot. It's the mask put out there. Hey, I have the mindset, I have the way, I can teach you, I can take you. But they're not really embodying it. They're not really letting themselves go deep and say, hey, there's work to do here. I'm not feeling good in this and this area of my life. I can do better. What is their deal? Am I dealing with my wounds? Am I dealing with any trauma that's there? Or am I just living my life in reaction? Because there's many entrepreneurs that are living their life, having amazing empires and doing even amazing things in the world, just reacting. They need to be all the time into something, you know, doing something and creating something, because it's the only way they'll escape their own prison, their own hell inside. And this happens with everything. You know, I've been full in the spiritual path, also in yoga and qigong and meditation, and I see so much happening there. It's not only entrepreneurs. There's so much judgment with people that are making money. In the yoga world, it's the same thing. There's people that are lost, you know, chanting for hours all day, meditating for hours all day, doing yoga all day, really escaping from what's really coming up. They're not able to see their darkness. They're not able to embrace their darkness and say, hey, there's something that's not working here. I want to transform it. It can hurt. It's not easy. It'll be painful, but I'm ready to transcend it and release the masks that I've put in my life to go to the core and awaken from the core. And that's what really fulfills you. That's the real leader, the one that lives awakened, that lives present, that lives totally open and receptive to the moment, to serve in the world. And yes, create abundance. And yes, live the best life ever. But from this truth, in integrity with your heart and with cosmic energy or universe, or however we want to call this, infinite love. Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Like, some people call it God, some people call it source, some people call it the universe. We've kind of got all sorts, but it's all the same thing.
It's all the same, right?
Yes, it's about being connected to everything and the truth of who we are. Because for me personally, as I listen to you, you know, I see this too, and my work is similar in the sense of helping business owners really achieve phenomenal success. But, you know, it's not success in the sense of it's this much money, it's this much time, it's this much impact. Yeah, that's a part of it.
Yeah.
The true success is what's your internal world like when you achieve those goals?
Yes.
Because unless we actually go inwards and do the inner work, we can achieve everything externally, and we feel even more empty than when we were going after the dream.
Exactly.
You know, and for most people, like we've got overachievers in the world, and they heavily live in the physical world, and they do big things. You know, they build 8-packs and 6-packs,
yeah.
and you know, they build $1 million, $1 billion empires. They drive sports cars, and you know, like there's all this external success where somebody else could look at them and go, wow, you know, you're amazing,
yes.
right? On the flip side, we've got people who are really stuck in the spiritual world, where they've kind of like, it's weird, like they do all this meditation, all this, you know, yoga, all this deep spiritual work,
yeah.
and their physical world, quite frankly, is poo. Their health is shit, their finances are shit, you know, like the physical manifestations aren't there, and they're kind of just like living in this world in a place of going way too inwards, right?
Yes.
They're not really doing the important work, just kind of trying to bliss out in a state of meditation. One thing I've noticed for myself, especially working with the overachievers, is too often these people reach their goals, and it took a lot of work to reach them.
Yeah.
They hustled, you know, they put the hours in, and when they do, shortly after, they actually hit a point of almost depression.
Yes.
Because they're dopamine addicts. They're addicted to the dopamine production inside their body. Yes. And the only reason these people can hustle as much as they hustle is that every day their to-do list needs to get bigger to get that dopamine rush, you know.
Yeah.
And once they achieve a goal, if they achieve their goals, there's no more dopamine production. So their whole life has been an addiction to a freaking hormone in their body. Yeah. And it's crazy,
it's
right?
Adrenaline junkies, exactly.
Absolutely. And so to me, when I look at all of this stuff, and I know for myself, like I share this because it happened to me. This was my life a few years ago. I literally woke up having achieved what I wanted to achieve, and I remember the moment I was sitting in my lounge room on my couch watching TV, you know, watching a movie, you know, during the day, because I had all this time. And I'm sitting there going, oh my God, like, is this it? Is this what I created all this stuff for, to have time freedom so I could waste my time watching movies all the time? I remember this feeling of this, like, real deep sense of this can't be it. This really can't be it. And then when I did the work on releasing my dopamine addiction, and to me, I don't know about you, but, because it's a similar journey, that version of you that, that had the body and, and the beautiful long hair and all that stuff,
Yeah.
Was there a journey for you? Because for me, it was about releasing my need to impress people, releasing my need to have everyone look at me and go, ooh, wow, like, and it was really like to step into the next version of fulfillment and happiness. It really was letting go of what people think and going inwards and starting to listen to what's important to me. What would make me proud of me? Like, forget about them and forget about impressing them and being something that's measured as successful in the world. What is my measure of fulfillment and happiness? And letting go of everything I'd learnt and not caring anymore, like just buying the car I want to drive because it's the car I want to drive, not buying the car that I think I should drive because, it has more, significance around itself in the marketplace.
Yeah.
For yourself, was there any work that, I don't know, does this resonate with you? Like this letting go of what people think and really tuning in and listening to your own inner voice and your own truth to step into higher versions of leadership. What would you say about that?
Yeah, for me it was very important to stop connecting with the other vortex I wanted to talk about, which is the vortex of energy. And this is something that many leaders are not conscious, and they see it's like, oh, our energy is woo-woo and it's not for me and it's for the spiritual people, but we are energy. You can't deny. Now quantum physics and science is like, hey, you can take photographs of the aura, of the chakras, like there's nothing to hide. There's no woo-woo. Everything's proven right now. So how can we use that as a favor? And that for me becomes know yourself. First of all, where are your blockages? How powerful and amazing and enlightened being you already are. If you see yourself as your nervous system, as the channels of energy that flow through your body that relate to your organs relate to your emotions, your organs relate to the centers of energy that we all have. We are an amazing machine of light. That's what we are. And we came here to shine. But why is that not happening? Because we live in the very basic levels. You can even have as much money as you can, but you're living in the first 3 vortexes, right? And not using the next 4 to elevate your frequency, to bring your consciousness up and connect to the divine plan, then connect to the divine abundance, where it's not only just for you and your little project, but you're bringing abundance for the whole world. You're manifesting whatever you're manifesting for you for the whole world. And yes, you can have the best life ever, but it goes with the consciousness of the planet. And when you let go of that, those concepts of that little me, and I need to have this, or I need to do this, or I should do that, or have this title, or accomplish this, or I'm gonna be accepted or loved if I do this or that. When you let go of that and you let it burn and you don't care anymore, the truth starts emerging and it's unstoppable. Nobody's gonna shut you down, but you gotta do the work to release, to let go, to burn it through, to go through that moment of transformation, and know that everything is gonna be transformed into energy. That's why I bring it into energy. When you're conscious of that energy is flowing all the time in you, and you're using everything that was negative in your life as energy to transform and transcend and clear the channel of energy that you are, when you're conscious of this and you start really going and knowing yourself, we are a micro universe. We are microcosmos of the macrocosmos. That's inevitable. If you want to go deep and learn about that and fascinate yourself and open up and burn any belief that say you that that's not for you because you're this or that, that's your deal. But this is where we're going to. Like, it's something you can't deny, even for entrepreneurs. Many are like, oh yeah, but I'm just into this business. And if you want to have even like a conscious business, if you want to be somebody like really putting yourself out there and creating impact in the world, a positive impact, you got to start knowing yourself. You got to start knowing your power. You got to start knowing who you really are. You got to start knowing every vortex of your being and how it works. You're not separate. We're not in a moment where you can separate yourself. All these people that are just living on a material world, they're more empty and depressed and unfulfilled, as you said before, than ever, because the energy in the planet is so high that if you're just living in these low levels of existence, you're not successful. I'm sorry, but that's not success. Success is not about money. Money is a reflection of the success you've had inside, of the work and alignment you've had inside, of the release of all the beliefs that are holding you back. But it's just a result. If that is your goal and you're staying on the low levels, you could get away with that before. But you know what? If you want to be on it and you want to, step up, wake up and start opening to all the levels of your being. You won't hold it anymore. You'll be burned out. And I have so many clients coming to me like, okay, I'm done. Juanpa, I've always seen you as the woo-woo, the guru, the speak. But I'm ready now. You're right. This is not the only way. And it's beautiful to see how people are just kind of surrendering. Like my niece, my niece had to be broken for me to understand that there was other ways. Well, they're happening the same. They have everything they want on site, and now what? Who am I? What am I doing? I don't feel that adrenaline. And something, just to finish the theme about the energy, what happens when you're an adrenaline junkie, and that happens like you're using caffeine and coffee and sugar and all this stuff to keep yourself awake, because you're not really tapped into your energy body. You're disconnected from your energy body. So you always need these impulses that at the end become toxins in your body. Sooner or later, it's not that they're bad, but if you abuse them, even adrenaline, if you abuse it, it becomes a toxin. It's the most acidic substance you can have in your body. Can you believe that? More than drinking a Coca-Cola, more than eating the most artificial food, it's the most acidic. Acidic means not life, no oxygen, no health. Acidic means there's virus and bacteria and germs growing. Acidic is the lowest vibration you can have in your body. And we become addicts to this vibration and these substances in our body, and then that is reflected in every area of our life. So yes, the energy body, the vortex, for me it's super basic. And yes, if people want to really wake up and start even being the real successful, they need to acknowledge it, love it, and learn how to go and use it as a tool.
Yep. What's one tip? Because I know there's a fair few things you could do. What's one thing we could give the people listening to enable them to increase energy within themselves versus going external? So what's one main thing you recommend around really driving the energy inside your body that's simple? If you could...
Yeah, I recommend breath. Many are disconnected from breath, and it's very basic, but I teach a lot of breathing techniques, and you saw in the retreat you were going off and opening everything and having so many visions and with your business, everything, right? Just through breath, through all the breath work we did. But very simple, like when you just start breathing like a baby, a natural way. We forget that, but it's the basics. The breath goes all the way into the belly. It's not shallow. When we breathe shallow, just here, it's 20-30%. That's the kind of energy you're bringing into the body. That becomes the blood becomes very acidic. There's very little prana or energy coming into the cells of your body, and that's why you need all these toxins of adrenaline and sugar and artificial stuff coming in to feel energy. Something outside of you needs to fulfill you. But when you learn to breathe consciously and you're taking your time with sweetness, savoring every inhalation and feeling not only your body and your belly being filled up, but like every cell of your being is being nourished by this energy, which is not only oxygen, but is the energy of the universe that is waiting for you to say, yes, I am accessible. I inspire, right? So maybe let's take some time together to just breathe conscious.
I'm literally doing it as you were talking, and I've got like all these beautiful sensations and orgasmic feelings going through my body. I'm like, yeah, I hope everyone listening is doing the same thing.
So just for everyone, for you guys there in the live, in the Facebook Live, and for you and all your people, Gaby, let's just take time to just breathe together. How magical that is to open your chest, bring your shoulders back. If you want, you bring your hands to your belly. If you don't know how to do this breath, just close your eyes and be present with what do you feel when you inhale, how sweet it is. If you can inhale through your nose, how sweet it is, like coming slowly, the cold air coming into your lungs and filling everything up from your belly up into your chest. Every rib is separated through the expansion of your lungs. And then when you exhale, also very sweetly, very softly. There's no rush to exhale. You inhale, you're receiving the energy, you're receiving from the universe, you're awakening. And when you exhale, you're releasing. You're letting go of tension, of negative thoughts, negative emotions, whatever is holding you back from lighting up from inside. So just being present with that and knowing that inspiration comes from the word inspiritus. I've been talking about this in my trainings and with my people, like how important it is to connect with inspiration. You're bringing in spirit, you're lighting up spirit in you. And just knowing that, the spirit, the soul, the heart is lighting up every time you inhale. And slowly, keeping that consciousness of what is a real breath, slowly start coming back, opening your eyes and just feel the difference.
So beautiful. Such a gorgeous exercise to really energize and to get present and to get centered. It's such a beautiful thing to do.
It's very simple, right? But it's the basics. Then there's other techniques to awaken energy, right? To move energy, to start. But this is the basic to like, balance. And if you start
cool things at the event. Oh my gosh, Juanpa's got like off the head awesome stuff to do that just opens up your energy body in such a beautiful way. Yet at the same time, I think, like one step at a time, if people aren't stopping, especially in business, I see so many business owners in the do, go space. And, it's just, if you took some time in your day to simply stop, to breathe, you would actually recharge. And when you went back to work, you'd be able to get more done, you'd be more creative, you'd be more, like your ability to lead others, to manage your people, to really function at a high level is increased. It's such a simple thing. So it's not like you've got to go do some degree to access this. Yeah, by all means, like, please give Juanpa stuff a go. It is off its head awesome. Yet at the same time, right now, as you're sitting there listening, watching this, breathe, baby, breathe. And I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, for sure. It's the basic, right? But it's so important for every human being. And also that receiving. You're receiving when you inhale and you're giving when you exhale. How hard it is for us, the givers, right? We're giving all the time. Hey, let yourself receive. You have all the right. Nurture yourself. Regenerate yourself. Love yourself. Whatever you want to create from a place of inspiration, of regeneration, of fulfillment. And that is the breath. You're being accessible. You're being accessible to divine energy. You're being accessible to your full potential. However you want to call it. You're saying yes. You're opening up yourself in every cell of your being instead of struggling, instead of hustling, instead of sacrificing and all this masculine unbalanced energy we see in the planet right now. So the masculine energy is here to hold space, to have structure, to have rationality, to help us order and have a focus, a single focus. You know where you're going, you know what's your purpose. You're going deep. Is your connection to the stars, to the messages, yes, to inspiration. But then we have the feminine that comes and dance, and it's creative, and it's got all that juice and that energy and that love and that compassion and that openness and that multi-focus that can be in so many places at the same time. That's the balance. That's the dance of masculine and feminine here and now in every human being. Because we're in a male body doesn't mean you are just masculine energy. We all have the beautiful feminine energy, thanks God, because oh my God, the goddess is ruling, you know, the goddess of the energy is so important in everything you want to do. And if goddess sounds very woo-woo for you, just see it as sacred feminine. It's feminine energy which you need to be totally open and receptive to new ideas, to be open and receptive to people and relationships, and taking every area of your life to the deepest levels you can take it.
Yes. And likewise, you know, for female, you know, for females out there, it's also tapping into the masculine inside of you. And there's gifts in all of it. So that's why I like the breath work. It's like you can consciously tune in and do this give receive. You can consciously tune in to tap into your feminine and masculine, all the different parts, all your left brain, your right brain, like, you know, you're actually accessing so much of yourself in that moment. It's such a beautiful thing. And like you say, it's simple, but you know what? To me, nothing is simple unless you're using it. You know, so people can say to me, oh yeah, that thing's really simple. Are you doing it? No, well, it's not simple until you actually maintain implementing a strategy. Don't belittle how powerful it can be, and it's super powerful. I still remember I still remember a time in my life where I did not know how to do this. I was all go, focus, do, you know, and I didn't, as dumb as it sounds, I didn't know to breathe. Breathing, that's just something that my body does, right? And yet, it's such a beautiful practice, and it's, you know, and for so many people out there that are listening to this that know you have a sugar addiction, know you have a caffeine addiction, here's a challenge. Here's a thing you could consider. The next time you go and reach for the chocolate, the cookies, the lollies, or the coffee, or the energy drink, do this first. Give it a go. Yeah. You know, take this exercise on and fill up your own energy, and then see how you feel. Exactly. You know, because to me, you could literally use this to actually help yourself get rid of some of those addictions. And to me, that means that it's a super powerful tool.
Totally. Breath is basic of the energy vortex, which relates to every other parts, right? To the body, to the mind, to the emotions. Like every part that we talk about is related to this part too. But yes, it's the base. And as you say, it's not that easy because we forget all the time. So it's a good way to be reminding ourselves, hey, and what does the breath bring to you? Like if you have an intention, if you have a purpose, if you have a goal somewhere, like why not every time you're inhaling, you're nurturing that purpose, you're nurturing that intention, you're giving it light. It's like when you blow a fire. That's what I tell the people, you know. It's like, hey, feel your bird, you're blowing your inner fire. The inhalation is coming and it's lighting up the inner fire. Your intention, whatever you want to call it. And the exhalation is releasing whatever would put the fire down. It's releasing it. So the fire is always going to be there in the heart, in your mind, in every part of your being. And that's how you manifest. That's the art of manifestation.
Yes. I love that. Thank you. So beautiful. So beautiful. Please, everyone watching and listening, take this on. It will blow your mind. Like we did so much gorgeous breath work in New Zealand with Juanpa, and just since attending that event and doing all this deep work with you, Juanpa, and just incorporating a deeper consciousness level to this stuff. Because even if you're listening and you've done this kind of work before, I'm going to ask you one question: how's your maintenance going? You know, in the personal development space, I swear to God, I don't come across anyone anymore that has not heard doing gratitude, like daily gratitudes, is good for your vibration. Like it's pretty old news at this stage, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, gratitude work. And if I say to someone, when was the last time you were conscious around everything that you can appreciate in your life? And they're like, yeah, I know that. When was the last time you did it? Oh, The and so to me, like tuning into everything you appreciate and being present with that, breath work, they are simple, and that's a good thing because it's not going to take you, you know, some weird 5-year degree to try and learn the strategy to implement it, right?
Yes.
So to me, it's that, like, really understand that if it means you've got to set your phone to go off every hour to remind you to breathe, remind you just to take a minute, 1 minute, you know, to connect yourself to the energy leader, the leadership part of you that's fueled by that inner energy.
Yeah.
And to me, this puts us in the zone. This puts us in a flow state. You know, like every single leader, every business owner I know loves being in the zone or the flow state where everything is just, it flows. You kind of see things clearly. You've got expanded awareness. You've got sensory acuity. Like, you know, like you're just in this beautiful high vibe flow state. And this is your way to actually practice. This is one of the things you can do to practice the muscle. So I like it. I receive, I give. I receive, I give. I bliss out. I feel great.
Yeah.
I connect. I get grounded. I tune in. And then I continue taking action in alignment in my business and in my life. It's beautiful. Thank you.
Yes. No, you're welcome. I love it. There's so many tools, right? So many tools we have in hand. And again, coming back to leadership, that is the real leadership when you know yourself. Yes.
And you're self-leading.
Yes, and then from there you are listening to yourself, you're listening to your inner guidance, you're listening to that part of you that's connected to infinity, that's connected to something bigger. It's not your little ego trying to make things happen in every area of your life. So when you learn how to use these laws of movement and co-creation, you really start flowing in synchronicity. Everything flows in synchronicity, and you really start, every step you take takes you closer and closer to the life of your dreams, to your visions, to what you've seen, and you start accepting it. That it's something that, yes, you can have, yes, you can live, and yes, the whole universe is supporting you. Yeah. So that is the real leadership. You empower yourself, and you accept it, and you go for it, and then people follow you. Naturally, you don't even have to be trying to have them follow you. They want to know what you're doing. They want to know where you're up to. They want to be with you. They want to breathe you. They want to be around you. That's the magnetism of a leader. You are such a high vibration that people want to just be around you, listen to you, talk to you, know you, whatever. And that's how it flows. It's so beautiful to see it from inner alignment and not following the rules or the school of a leader.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and the truth of the matter is, unless you actually do the inner work, you're not truly experiencing what it means to lead. You know, because there's like you said, there's strategies around leadership, and by all means, yes, you know, if depending on how you want to use leadership in your life, by all means learn some of the really cool ways that you can inspire people, where, you know, you can create cultures in your business and, you know, create an impact in a beautiful way. And there are certain strategies, how to run meetings, how to give feedback. There's all sorts of ways of how to function, you know, as a leader, you know, and bring out the best in others. Yeah. At the same time, though, I do believe the game starts with us. How do we function as an inner leader? How do we bring out the best in ourselves? You know, and what is our standards around that? What are we willing to do? What are we really willing to embody and turn into a daily practice, a ritual, a maintenance, a way of being, an identity, in order to hold that space? And to me, like you said before, it's not just in, you know, business impact. It's also in every other part of life. You know, how do you want to show up for your children?
Yeah.
How do you want to show up for your friends, for your family, for your partner? You know, because at the same time, doing this inner work also has you have a better relationship, have a better friendship, have a better connection with your children. And that's the beautiful part of life. Like, it's all in it. You know,
all of it.
I love that you brought that up.
It's integral, right? We're integral beings. We can't separate one from the other. And that's the problem in business and entrepreneurs right now. They see it kind of separate, and it's not. There's so much depth that you will be, what you want is be fulfilled. You want to feel free. You want to feel bliss. You want to feel all the qualities of the heart that are there, that are innate. But when you open yourself to this integral being is when you really start living it. You really start walking your talk. It's not something anymore that just covering certain parts of yourself. Yes.
Yeah. And the funny part is when you do the inner work, you actually do elevate your frequency to a place that when you apply business strategies, they work. They just work better, because you're now emitting a different frequency, a different vibration. So when you launch a marketing campaign, it comes from this beautiful place.
Exactly.
It doesn't come from scarcity, I have to get this done. It comes from, I want to get this done, this is fun and flowful. And there's just a different element to it.
Yeah.
And people love up all over that stuff. And so, love. So we've spoken about the physical part of, leadership, where, it's about taking care of this temple and actually being a leader in your body. So if you're going to be a leader, maybe have a shower. You put a nice top on.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself, right? Take care of this and respect this body, because if you're not respecting yourself, how can we expect others to respect us, right?
Yeah.
You spoke about emotional, and really tapping into the masculine, the feminine, vulnerability, to really listen in and to pay attention to what's going on now, what's really going on now, as opposed to trying to masquerade all of that. You spoke about the mind and the mind of the leader. You spoke about the energy of the leader, which has been phenomenal.
Yes.
What else would you like to share when it comes to these 7, vortexes of leadership, these 7 areas of leadership? What else would you like to share?
Well, I feel it's very important. I call it the bliss vortex, and it's sometimes not taken into consideration because people look for bliss, for example, in drugs or alcohol or substances. Sometimes that's outside of you. And in order to really feel the leadership, it's like learning what creates bliss for you. What is that bliss? How can you tap into that bliss? That first of all, it's always there. There's an innate peaceful bliss it's always there. There's nothing that anybody or anything outside can give you, because it's the bliss of being alive, right? It's always been there. It will always be there. If you're not tapping into it, it's because you've just not been open to it. You're not accessible. You're too much in your mind. You're too much in your emotions. You're struggling too much because you don't know how to tap into it. So then learning how to tap into these places of bliss, that is your natural state, and then learning how to raise your vibration, how to shift your reality. There's so many tools that you can use to shift your reality whenever you feel you're going in a negative path, whenever you feel you're disconnected, whenever you feel unfulfilled or unsuccessful, or you're in judgment or criticism, or all these low vibrational frequencies that are bringing us down and are not letting us live the life of our dreams. So it's all about being present and being very aware that we can connect to this vortex of bliss all the time. It's happening all the time. And first, just be aware through the breath, and be aware also through healthy activities that give you that moment. There's people that love going to the gym, or go for a run, or being in nature, or having a bath in at night with all the herb oils and what. It doesn't matter. Start to know yourself and what gives you that love for yourself, because you need to nurture yourself. You need to give yourself those gifts that nobody's gonna give them to you, and it's the only way that you can give more. The more you receive, the more you can give. So 2 points. One, just tap into that inner bliss. That there's a lot to that, and that's why I teach what I teach. Is I teach people how to tap into that and know that is their natural state, right? And then also, okay, what gives you that bliss? What from outside can help you if you're in a weird space that's not feeling good? Do something about it. Don't stay with it. Transform it. Become the alchemist. You are responsible for your life. You are responsible for your vibration. So take responsibility, move the energy, and keep on going.
Yeah, I love that. And it comes back to what you said before around knowing yourself. The actual quest is to create and know and tune in. Because for the most part, I believe that when, as a kid, we're so fully self-expressed. You know, we're so like, woohoo, we're running around naked and we're having fun and we're just so creative, and it's fully self-expressed bliss, right?
Yeah.
And then what happens is we get told, don't do this. This is bad. Do. And there's all these things, and we're literally putting on these hats and these jackets and all these things of, you know, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do that. And to me, when we were doing the work around bliss together, one thing I really tuned into was, you know, it's kind of sad and, you know, and it's unfortunate that this isn't the stuff that we're taught. This isn't the stuff that, you know, they teach in school. That's not the kind of, this isn't the information, these aren't the conversations most people are having. You know, what's your bliss? Instead, no one really asking the question, what is my bliss? What do I value? What makes me happy? You know? Yeah. And instead what they do is they get to a point where they haven't respected this part of themselves. They've should and done all over themselves, and then they break and need to drink a lot or take drugs or eat a lot of bad food. And at that point, that's when you've been ignoring this part of yourself, you know? And when we shift it, this is why I love your model around leadership, that it's not just, you know, there's so many levels to it, guys. You know, that what is the version of you, how are you leading your bliss center? How are you actually leading in this space, and what are you doing to nurture this for yourself consciously, you know, versus some days you're by default, you've somehow landed at the beach, spent some time at the beach, filled up your bliss bucket, and don't even know that you did it, and it worked today, but you're not conscious about it. You know, like I know for myself in business, I love creating, I love learning, I love teaching, you know, I love nature, I love personal development. Like, it's knowing all the things you actually love and give you bliss, and making sure that you honor that and give yourself that gift. For some people, like you said, it's salt baths and, you know, and things like this. For some people, it's yoga, it's meditation, it's spending time with their friends, their dog, whatever. I love that, you know, first step, the very first step into this is what brings you bliss. Out of curiosity, Juanpa, if you were to look at, you know, your own journey especially as a man, and I don't mean to stereotype here, but one of the reasons I really wanted you on the show was because you are a beautiful example of someone, a leader who's done the work, a leader who's really tuned in and embodied the full part of yourself, your masculine, your feminine, and you do the work on really beautifully paying attention to these 7 levels of leadership and these 7 levels on a day-to-day basis. For you as a man, your journey, because you were man, you know, like you came from that sort of blokey bloke kind of place, within that journey for you, and this is for the men out there listening, because I know of men that are in this place, you know, for you to tap into what brings you bliss, you know, to really like start to explore that part for yourself. What's some insights you got in your journey when you were integrating into the full spectrum? You know, what was it for you? Because I think sometimes men can get stuck in, you know, like the achieving shit and protecting, and, you know, like they can get stuck in some of those logical parts of it. For you, does that make sense? Am I making sense here? Or?
Totally. Well, I'm a very like open being in that way. Like I have gone deep in different paths, so I've gone really deep in yoga in certain paths, and really deep in like shamanism in certain paths, and really deep into like tantra, and really deep into like all kinds of mindset and trainings, and you know, it's been a very long journey of all these tools that when I go deep I totally get obsessed with it, right? Till I get it, till I feel it, till I can teach it. But I always balance it, because for me it just doesn't work one way. I can't just do yoga, you know, I can't just do something. I need to always be balanced. I love lifting weights. I love like go running. I love going in nature. Like I love being barefoot and just doing my barefoot therapy. I love eating good. I love deep breathing exercises. I love my meditations. Like I love making love, you know, like I love sun gazing. There's so many so many tools that you can use that are always, when you are connected from your heart, from the source, from your core, they all help you remember who you are. They all help you come back to that space inside that doesn't depend on what people are saying, that doesn't depend on what society wants from you or what you think they want from you. You're coming back to your core, but you need to be in tune every day. See when you disconnected, when you went away, when you feel an emptiness there that is you're not listening. When you're feeling certain emotions that are not feeling well, you're not listening. What are they trying to tell you? When there's pain in your body, what is your body trying to tell you? There's this whole methods of being present with everything that's happening inside of you and around you, to be open, to be that leader that you came to be here in planet Earth. It's being present. So for me, it's like using any tool that helps you, anything that helps you feel better, be more aware. Take your time to breathe and observe. The observer is the magic of it all. When you go back out of the movie and you sit down, it's like, oh, let me see that. That's interesting. Look at my mind. Oh, it's going crazy. Well, okay, she's always crazy. The mind's always gonna have crazy thoughts, right? You can become the master when you observe the mind, so it doesn't take you. But the mind is, it's gonna go off. The emotions, how are my emotions going? How's my energy going? You start yourself detaching from the whole movie. Then you become the master. Then you become the leader. Then you're really connected to your essence, to your truth. But if you can't do that, then you're just going around through everything. Thoughts, emotions, energy, situations outside of you that are just carrying you away. You think you're empowered. You think you're ruling your life, and yeah, that's what you're trying to do, but it's impossible to rule your life. The most you can do is observe, surrender to the process of knowing you are co-creating with the infinite energy, listening to that, and listening to what you need every time to come back to that space. What you need, what's the tool that you need? It can be dancing. Sometimes I just put music and drums or whatever music I want, and I just dance and move and shake, and I start laughing after that. I use children a lot. Like, I love children, my son or his friends, and they come home and we just have so much fun, and I become this little child that just raises my vibration. I forget about any problem or anything that's getting stuck in my life. There are so many ways, and that's why people have to be open and creative to say, like, what do I like? What moves me? What gets my soul going? What gets my soul on fire? Do more of that.
That's it. I love that. It's so simple. Give things a go, and whatever really lights your soul on fire, do more of that.
Yeah. Right?
Oh, thank you so much, Juanpa. We could talk for hours and hours. I freaking love your generosity, and I just like everyone tuning in, I know, is sitting here so grateful for the beautiful stuff that you're sharing. Makes a profound difference for people, and I really appreciate it. Out of curiosity, just for a bit of fun, because this does go out to business owners. Just like to know, what was your very, very first business venture? Where did business start for you?
My very first business. That's so funny. Business would be receiving something for what you give, right? And for me, it was like, I wanted to buy sweets, and I was a very sweet tooth. And my parents knew that, and they were always healthy and not good into sugar, so they wouldn't give me that much money. So I'm like, I have to make my own. But I want to do it in a way, like, I had a couple friends that would wash cars and stuff like that. I'm like, no, I'm really not into that. I need to create it in another way. And I've always been an artist, like, in a way, like, singing and dancing and playing and doing magic. I love doing magic tricks. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna become a showman. So I started doing these shows. I would even bring certain friends and create these acts and these plays, and we would do all kinds of things and charge. And people would come every I don't know, weekend or once in a while, just to see us, and would give us something symbolical there, whatever, 5 cents or whatever. And that's what I would make. Some money, and then buy my sweets.
How old are you then?
I was like 11 years old.
Yeah, isn't that great? I love it.
I was
11-year-old going, okay, that's it. I'm putting on a show, pay me money, I'm going to buy myself some lollies.
That's so funny.
Beautiful. It's actually the first time, like, I've asked someone that question, and it was so creative. Like, you know, you actually put on a show. I like it.
And it's funny because that's what I teach people now in this leadership training. It's like, you don't have to be me. You don't have to be something you're not. Be yourself. Let's explore who you are and help you enhance the best in you so you can put it out there. If you enhance the best in you and you clear all the unconscious stuff, all the clouds that are not letting your sun shine through, you are going to create abundance in your life. It's inevitable. If you're trying and you're coming from your mind and you're struggling, sometimes it's harder to create abundance or you're not fulfilled. But if you're doing from a creative space that your soul is shining, that it feels good for you, there's so much abundance for you. There's so much. It's waiting for you to say yes.
I love that. Thank you so, so much. Oh my gosh, you've been so generous. You've shared so much gorgeous stuff. I just adore you. You're Juanpa is the real deal. Like, you know, the one thing I'm committed to is only sharing the real deal with you people. Only sharing the true, like the people that walk their talk, the people who have like done the work, have got the runs on the board, are actually creating great impact and have some phenomenal wisdom to share with you. This man has an extraordinary life. He has it all. He has the health. He has the love. He has the fulfillment, the purpose, the money. He travels around the world, you know, doing cool stuff. He's living and breathing, you know, an extraordinary life. And please take his advice because it's, you know, who doesn't want that, right?
It works. It works.
It works. So, I know you've got some cool stuff going on. If you're actually called to do some deeper work around leadership, check out Juanpa. He's got a really cool leadership course that he runs, and he goes super deep on this, and there's so much more to it. Like, we covered some of this stuff at the last event, and I tell you what, whoa, did it transform the way I look at life. And I've literally spent a fortune and years exploring all of these topics, and it honestly is the next level stuff. Like, if you know you've already done a lot of stuff inside of your business and inside of developing yourself as a leader, as a business owner, you know, if you're not too like totally new to the game and you're looking for the like what's the advanced stuff beyond quantum physics, beyond law of attraction, beyond the stuff that's in the standard market, please do yourself a favor. You've got to experience Juanpa's work. And if you're new, well, what a great benchmark to hit into, because, you know, like, let's start at the top straight away.
Boom. Thank you.
So guys, honestly, follow Juanpa on Facebook, on Instagram. What's your website address, Juanpa?
It's Juan Pablo Barahona. It's long. Or they can look for juanpaglobal.com.
There we go. Juanpaglobal.com. I'll have the links up for you as well.
Yeah.
With this episode, but ultimately it's JUANPA global.com.
Yes.
Please follow him on Facebook. He puts out beautiful content. He's so gorgeous and giving. And thank you so, so much for everyone tuning in, and myself for taking the time to share your beautiful message, to make a difference, to make an impact, and help someone in the world right now listening, watching this, to elevate their vibe and, you know, and transform their life. It means the world to me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gaby. I love connecting with you and all your questions and your interaction. It's been beautiful. I love your energy and what you're doing in the world. So thank you so much for opening up this interview, and may it be shared to all the world to awaken. Thank you.
Super fun.
Mwah. Bye-bye.
Thank you. That was super fun. I freaking love you. It was like, do you want to wrap up your live?
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Sorry I couldn't interact with all of you. We're here like full on the interview, but thank you for staying tuned. It was like an hour and a half or something, right? Right? So just wanted to share with you all the love, and hopefully you had something that woke up in you and that will help you in your life. Hopefully that's what this is for. So have an amazing day, have an amazing night wherever you're at. Leave me your comments, what you felt about this. I would love to know too, and we can share the whole interview with you guys too. And if you want to check Gaby out, I just put her name there. You can check her out and friend her and follow her or whatever that is. Yeah? Love you so much. Have a beautiful life. We'll see you soon. Yay.